So, training of the buddhi is what the spiritual journey is about. And there are 5 parts of the buddhi which need training. And you can summarize them as S, 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 A, P. Bus. S, 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 A, P. Understood? Should I explain?
Yes.
S, 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 A, P. I like acronyms because it's easy to remember. SAP. First S is Samatva Buddhi. Samatva you know now already? Equanimous. Unfortunately, we have divided the entire world into 2 parts. One part I like and one part I don't like. Everything has been divided into what I like and what I don't like. Right or wrong? In your mind, you have made 2 compartments. What I like, I want. What I don't like, I don't want. What I like and I want, I run to. What I don't like and I don't want, I run away. Whichever way you are still running. Whichever way your energy is still running, it is not in summer. It is not equipoised. Either you are running to something or you are running away from something. One is rag, one is dvesh. Both are bondages. You need to be in the center. What you like, maybe somebody else is not like. And what you don't like, maybe somebody else is like. Why you are concerned with anybody else's like and dislike? You have your own buddhi, you have your own vivek, you have your own goal, somebody else may have a different goal. You keep your goal in mind and go that way. That's it. What is doing to this one, that one, this whole of Facebook, Twitter, and God alone knows where all you all put your gyan, I don't know. It's like casting pearls before swine. Why are you concerned with what others are liking and disliking? First, at least put your own house in order. So stay in Samatva Bhav. And when we are putting this like and this dislike, this like and this dislike, this is good, this is bad, this gives me happiness, this gives me unhappiness, this is called Dvanda. You are caught up in duality. You are caught up in the pairs of opposites. Sukh, I like. I want this. It's giving me sukh. This I don't want. Why? It's giving me dukh. Everyone is running after sukh. Nobody wants dukh. What actions we are taking? Which actions are we taking? We are taking all the actions which give us dukh. Though we want sukh. Analyze yourself. Everything we are doing, we want sukh, but we are not ready to work for sukh. We are not ready to give up things so that we have sukh. We are running after things which are eventually giving us dukh. The point is, there is no sukh without dukh. And after dukh, sukh will always come. So if you don't want any dukh, give up searching for sukh. If you give up sukh and dukh, you will be poised in the middle. You will not be a slave of sukh or running away from dukh. That is called Samatva Bhav. Not seeking for sukh, not running away from dukh. Whatever is coming is in my highest interest. That's it. There are 2 sides of the same coin, sukh and dukh. You cannot have only sukh in your life. It's not possible. Sometimes dukh will also come, but after dukh, Sukh comes. And after Sukh, 100% Dukh is going to come. Take both Sukh and Dukh with the same drishti. That is called Sama Drishti. Looking at both with equal poise. Equipoised. Samatva bhava. So this is the first training of the buddhi, which we have done in an earlier verse, right? You all also had sadhana for that, right? Seeing for 15 days, see everything with samatva bhava. And some of you had good results with that also. Second S, Swadharma Buddhi. Action is compulsory. There is no moment that we are not doing any action. Everything is an action. So Swadharma duty, bhavana means do your duty in the right way, in dharma. Your action should be according to dharma. Like and dislike should not come in the picture. Dharma should be the basis on which you do your action. How do I know what is dharma? How do I know this action is the right action for me or not the right action for me? Go to the scriptures, go to Bhagavad Gita. They have told you which is the right action, which is not the right action. How can I find it out? First and foremost, Bhagavad Gita tells you what the Daivik gunas are. Yes or no? It even tells you what Asurik gunas are. So when you have to choose your action, see which guna is prevalent or prompting you to do that action. Is it a Daivik guna or is it an Asuric guna? Second, do your action according to your varna and ashram. Varna means what? Varna means what?
Propensity.
Propensity, your nature. Do you have aptitude? Do you have the aptitude for studying Brahma Vidya? Then you have the aptitude or the guna of a Brahmin because you are interested in Brahma Vidya. Do you have the aptitude or the propensity to protect and work hard and serve as in protection? Then you have the mental attitude of Kshatriya. Are you in that frame of mind where you bring the fabric of society together, you provide, you earn, you acquire food, you make food available, you make services available, then you have the mental attitude of Vaishya. And you don't have any of these three, but you're very good at supporting and helping those who are doing the other three jobs, then Shudra. It's not about caste or race or levels of society, because according to Bhagavan Krishna, all four are of equal importance. All four. You cannot just be sitting with studying Brahma Vidya while the enemies are coming to kill you, or without any food being provided or anybody helping you in this job. So all four are, it's a mutually cooperative kind of a fabric of society where all four benefit from all the others. So don't go according to the general concept of caste system, because this is something that the Britishers didn't understand and just put it as a caste. There is no word in Sanskrit for caste. It doesn't exist in Sanskrit. So varnas are not caste. And ashram, what is ashram? Stage in life. Are you a student? Are you a grihastha? Are you vanaprastha? Or are you sannyas? According to that, you have to do your action. That will tell you what your dharma is. So you should follow your dharma and do the action. That way, that is the way to train the buddhi. That buddhi might tell you, do this because I like it. But it may not be the right thing for you. So later on, we will come to the next chapter where Bhagwan will talk about Shriya and Priya. Shriya is that which is good for me, which is right for me, which is dharma for me. Priya, what I like, what I love, my preference. So when you have to choose between Shreya and Priya, what should you choose? Shreya, whatever is right for me, not what I have a personal preference for. So, second way of training the buddhi is Swadharma Bhav. Swadharma Buddhi. First one was what? Samatva. Second one is what? Swadharma. So, two S's taken care of. Third S, Samarpan Buddhi. Samarpan Buddhi. If you analyze or stop and think, why do you perform the actions that you generally perform? Any action, almost all actions. For who? For what?
Selfish.
To satisfy yourself. Yourself means your concept of who you are. Your concept of who you are is what?
BMI.
BMI, limited concept of self. And it is also called ego. It is also called ego. So basically, most of the actions that we do, we are doing to satisfy, in simple words, my own ego. Because that is my limited sense of self. Then you'll say, no, I don't do everything for my own self. I do for my children, I do for my parents, I do for my this, I do for my that. Then who are all these people you do it for?
Your attachments.
Your attachments. In other words, you're still thinking of yourself as BMI. Because you have still got the mind. My child, my parents, my shishya, my guru. You're still stuck in BMI. So it is still a very limited sense of self. Getting it? Very subtle. So when you are not the BMI and you're doing actions for who? BMI. What is the use? Then what to do? How to do? What should my actions be motivated by? What should be my motivation of my action? Right now my motivation is what? Satisfy my own needs. Satisfy my limited self. Or satisfy the limited self of those who I think are mine. Getting it? And what should be my motive for the action? The motive for my action is dedicated to Ishwar. That's it. Whatever action you're doing should be dedicated. The motive of our action means I am doing this for Ishwar. Not for X, Y, Z, ABC. And when I say Ishwar, what should I see? Where is Ishwar? Hello, I'm cooking now. How I'll cook for Ishwar? Is he going to come to my dining table and eat?
Yes.
Yes.
Invite me up when he comes. That Ishwar is within everyone, right? That Ishwar is within everyone. It is within every living being. Whether it is a human or an animal or a bird or a plant. That Ishwar, that Tattva is within every single living being. So when you do it for that higher good, that higher energy within that person. So you're no longer doing it for my daughter, my husband, my wife, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, my mother, my father. I am doing it for that Tattva which is enlivening them.
I didn't understand this one, the last bit.
We think we are doing it. I am bringing a cup of chai for my mother-in-law. Now that mother-in-law is also a BMI only. When we say I am serving somebody, we are thinking of them as a person, right? When you see the other one as a person, along with the person comes that person's thoughts, feelings, emotions, and that is where all the gadbad happens. Because we are giving importance to that part of the person which is not the person actually. The real person who you are, who are you? You are Atma, you are that pure energy. So when I connect from my pure energy to your pure energy, then I am serving Bhagwan only, na? Who else am I serving? Because this Atma within me is a part of that Paramatma only. And the Atma within you is also a part of that Paramatma only. So Paramatma is serving Paramatma. Rani and Ma is nowhere in the picture. And when you can do your action from one tattva towards the other tattva, you are serving the higher cause. You are dedicating that action to Bhagwan. And when you do that, the motive of I did, now she should also do for me, that point just disappears. So they are not getting into the karma. You're not getting into any expectation of any reciprocal action. Otherwise, every day I have to give tea to my mother-in-law, and yet she doesn't smile at me. I've heard many people talk like this.
It happens with everyone.
Everyone, na? So when I am not the doer of giving the tea, then why I should expect the other to be smiling, because the other one is also not the one who is smiling. So you just bypass, it's like a bypass. You're just bypassing all these gadbads that we are doing. First one was what? Samatva buddhi. Second one was Swadharma. Samatva, be equipoised. Samarpan, Swadharma, do what is right. Third one, Samarpan. Let the motive of your action be a dedication to Ishwar. Now what comes after SSS? A. Asanga buddhi. Asanga buddhi. Asang. Sang means attached. Asang means not attached. Not attached to what? Fruit of the action. Result of the action. Simply do the action. Leave it to Bhagwan. Leave it to the universe to give whatever result it deems fit for me. Perform your actions according to dharma. Right? Dharma will take care of the result also. Because you are thinking, I have done this action, and this action should give me this result. But you are not thinking of all the 10 million actions you have done in previous lifetimes. Who will know that? Only universe knows that. And taking all those actions into account, the result is coming. Asanga, we have already talked a lot about it. Do not wait for the result. Do the action according to dharma and let dharma decide. And the last one, prasad buddhi. Accept that result, whatever comes with that asanga buddhi you have done, some result will come. Whatever that result comes, accept it like prasad. See, when you go to the temple and they are giving you channa as prasad, you don't tell the Pandit ji, na, halwa kidhar hai? उसको ज़्यादा दिया, हमको कम दिया. You can't say anything. And the प्रसाद जो दिया वो दिया, मिला, खाओ. नहीं खाने का है तो मत खाओ, but don't complain, right? So whatever comes, वो प्रसाद है. Accept. How to accept? Gladly. Glad acceptance. Don't compare with somebody else. Comparing is the worst activity you can do. Worst. Someone goes to work in a new company. They will say, you are recruited, your salary is 2 lakhs per month. You are overjoyed. Wow. 2 lakhs? Good, yeah. Kabhi shuru karu. When can I start? You start. After 1 week, you make pals with the colleague next door, sitting. 3.5 he's getting. That is not good. How come he's getting 3.5 and I'm getting only 2? Where has your happiness gone? You were overjoyed with the 2 till you heard that your neighbor got 3.5 or even 3 or even 2.6. Even don't even have to have so much more, even 1 rupee more will cause you angst. So comparing is the worst thing. Accept what you have gladly, because that is what is due to you. That is what the universe has decided is the best thing for you at this moment. Maybe some other time something else will be coming. But at this moment, this is all that is due to you. Accept it with prasad buddhi. Now what happens when you train your buddhi to practice prasad buddhi? What happens in your antakaran? No agitation. No agitation. And again and again and again and again, you're training your mind and intellect to not get agitated. When no agitation is happening over a period of time, what is happening? Stillness. Stillness, because when you keep agitating water, ripples keep forming. When you stop agitating water, there is stillness. In that stillness, from prasad buddhi comes prasannata. And prasannata is that inner anand, that spontaneous joy for just being, no matter what is happening. And what we want to aspire for is to train our mind with prasad buddhi, so that this spontaneous joy, independent of any outer circumstance, independent of any outer rag, dvesh, ye kiya, wo kiya, usne bola, nahi bola, all kinds of things, stillness. This is what in yoga we call state of samadhi.